Hello all and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at two different brands of Z-Wave light switches and how you can wire up multi-gang light circuits with each. The impetus for this comparison is that in our basement we have a 3-gang wire lighting system set up with GE Enbrighten lights, and there's a very minor problem. When hitting the switch to go downstairs, there's a delay between the press and when the light turns on. While I know this is a champagne problem, it's one that can be easily remedied. You can see the delay occurs whether I'm using the main switch or the add-on switch. When I use the Home Assistant app to toggle the light, it's instantaneous. I suspect the short delay may be due to some scene management functionality, as the switch delays to see if you'll press the button once, twice, 3 times, or hold it down to enact other automations. Frustratingly, I can't find any documentation that shows that the GE switches have this functionality, nor can I find this functionality within the switch settings in Home Assistant. Further, this switch was recently replaced, and the GE switch that was previously installed, circa 2018, did not have this delay, so I'm not sure what changed in the manufacturing. As an aside, I have many GE switches in my home and have only had a few fail over the last 6 years, and the support from Jasco, who manufactures these switches, has been wonderful every time that's happened. On the table here I have 3 switches: the GE main switch, the GE add-on switch, and the Zooz switch. Here are the current prices of each, so you can see that the cost-effective choice would be the Zooz, as it does not require the add-on switches for multi-gang installations. Beyond that, the dimensions and build are quite similar between the brands. The Zooz does not have the pull-out tab to hard reset like the GE does, nor does it have the easy wire technology, meaning you must connect the line and load to their specific slots on the switch. The Zooz switch also supports Z-Wave long range, but I feel like that's more of a gimmick than anything else, but a notable difference. While I won't go into detail on how to install these, as your home may be wired differently than mine, I will share some tips. Firstly, you must have a neutral wire to use either of these switches. By code, these should be white wires that are likely joined together and pushed to the back of your gang box, given that normal switches don't use them. Secondly, the line, which carries the power from the breaker box, must not be wired directly to the light. Though I would not expect that to be the case, as it's unorthodox and may even be against electrical code. I would then flip the breaker to kill power, pull the old switch out, and take a picture of how it's wired before I remove any wires. If you're wiring up a multi-switch light, like I am, follow the wiring guide provided in the Zooz documentation. While it's fundamentally simple, it's important to identify each wire in each box. While they should follow the code on screen, note that your situation may be different. To find the line, flip the breaker back on after removing all the switches from the circuit and separate the wires so they don't touch. You can then use one of these electricity testers to confirm where the power is coming from. Another great tool that will help you identify what each wire is as it runs between boxes is one of these wire tracers. The power must be off via the breaker for this to work, but in effect you attach one or both of these alligator clips to a wire, and then take this wand and touch it to wires in the other box to figure out where each wire is running, so that it can be installed in the proper place in the smart switch. Here, I'm demoing the functionality on some spare wire I have. With the Zooz switch installed, you can now see that the delay on flipping the switch is basically non-existent, and all of the smart functionality still remains. Further, if I check the configuration of the switch in Home Assistant, you can see a myriad of different settings and toggles, including scene management, which I've disabled. Another nice feature of the Zooz is its signal strength test that can be activated by holding the switch down for 10 seconds and then double tapping down once the LED begins blinking. As you can see, my Zooz switch is solid green, which means it has a solid connection back to the Home Assistant Z-Wave radio. Further, here you can see the Zooz as compared to the GE and Enbrighten switches, and while they're a bit different, you likely wouldn't notice unless you got up close. I also installed a Zooz switch in the 4-gang network on my upstairs lights, and I'm happy to report that it works perfectly in that installation as well. It's safe to say I'll be buying Zooz switches in the future as I continue to outfit the switches in my home. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.